how can we be educated about what's going on in our bodies, what's going on in our relationship to keep us connected. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that makes these myths so important is because when you think about what really drives intimacy, it's connection.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these things are dealing with like external pressures.
Mm-hmm.
Really what drives sexual satisfaction is closeness, is intimacy, is safeness, is a freedom. And that comes with, when you build your relationship. A lot of couples think
We still do. We still do. We still do.
Still do after all this time at the altar. I alter my mind and vow to God I love you till he make his return. The rain should be the least of your concern. Under God's umbrella, I promise to provide and preserve his word and to serve your mind and spirit. Let me drive the boat. I promise I'ma steer it. The devil cannot get near it. You'll know this soon as you hear it. You need me, I need you. Even after the altar, we still do.
Welcome back to another episode of We Still Do. We are your hosts. My name is Lena.
I am Jermaine.
And we're so glad that you are
Yes,
here.
yes,
This is We
are.
Still Do, where we believe you can thrive after the altar. Whether you're newlyweds or decades in, we have something for you here at We Still Do.
Yes, and whether you are subscribed, listen, share, like, pass this along, comment. Listen, we're trying to help marriages be happy, whole, healthy, all the things. So before we jump in, let's just do our check-ins, honey. How you doing?
Why you do it like that? You want to check in with me?
I do, but just how you doing? Like what? How are you feeling?
I got a little hangry headache right now. And so I'm feeling a little bit. I'm feeling a little faint, a little bit. But I'm here.
Okay. You don't look faint.
How does faint look?
That's what I'm saying. You don't look faint because I don't know how I look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't usually look faint.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a workshop that I conducted earlier this morning.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, so it was good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Proud of you, honey.
Yep.
You
Thank
killed
you.
it.
Appreciate it.
It's my dog.
For sure.
Are you ready to get into today's topic?
Yes, let's do it. So, if you've been catching on to the trend, if you've been following us these past couple episodes, you know that we have been talking about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Okay, so you see how she romanticizes sex.
Wow, not romanticize. How dare you?
She likes to smooth it, and I like to say sex.
Okay.
Sex.
We're talking about it, but
Sex.
we're talking about the myths around the topic of sex.
Yes.
And specifically, we want to shed some light because culturally,
sex has always been falsified.
And
I don't know if it's been falsified.
Not necessarily falsified, but there's just expectation that is put on both the men and the women that you bring into the bedroom when it comes to sex.
Yes. So we really want to talk about myths because we want you to have a satisfying sex life.
Yep.
And our
Simple
theme
as that.
for these couple episodes that we're talking about sex is in 1 Corinthians 7. And just to remind you all of what those is, I'm going to read straight from my Bible. And it's 1 Corinthians 7 verse 3. It says the husband should give his wife her conjugal rights and likewise the wife to her husband. And so that really is our founding. There's so much more to this passage, but that really is our founding scripture because when we talk about sex, that's one of the things that is so intimate, so needed for relationships. And it's a way that we become one physically, but it's also something that is weaponized in marriages. It's also something that people divorce over. It's something that when it's not done for whatever reason, whether it's not intimacy, but if it's like emotional disengagement, whatever it is, people step outside of their marriage. And so we want to help you have a healthy sexual life. And one of the things we want to do today is really myth bust some of those things that we've been taught or even developed throughout the years, especially when we talk about, what we've heard from culture. Because when we think about it, there's a lot of things that we learned maybe in high school or middle school from those people we deemed as popular, are influencers that really led us to believe a certain thing about sex that really makes sex difficult when it comes to satisfying our partner. And so, without further ado,
I thought it was interesting that men internalize these false beliefs. What do you think about that?
internalize false beliefs.
I mean, as a man, and on myth one, you're certainly going to have to be the one to expound on that. I don't think I am at liberty to start that one.
You can, but no. As far as internalizing the beliefs, I mean, because sex is such a major need for men, and when I say need, it's something that is satisfying for us physically. Like it's something that a lot of men, they find themselves, if they are performing well, if their sex, if they're able to perform in a way that leaves their partner satisfied, it's a sense of identity. And so it's important in that respect. And so when we talk about this internalizing of beliefs, whether it's you have a history of performing well or you have a history of performing negative, you have shame around that, around the idea of sex, like all of these things really latch on to our identity. And whatever that is, good or bad, it starts to shape how we see ourselves and how we show up and how we, could even eventually perform. And so when we talk about, go ahead. You look like you want to say something.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Take
Before
it
I
away.
jump in it, go ahead.
I lost my thought. It's gone. Gone with the wind.
That's actually a book. You know that?
Yes, I do. We watched. It's also a movie.
Yeah. So anyways, the first myth that we want to talk about is this idea that penis size determines satisfaction. And I know that it's hard for some of y'all to hear over the airwaves the word penis, but this is educational. So we want you to hear the education behind it, because this really stumps a lot of couples, especially men who feel they don't have the proper size, because there is this myth that bigger is better, or what's the boat, rock the boat thing or something like that?
Nope.
Motion in the ocean. It's something like that. What is it?
Gotta be enough motion in the ocean.
Gotta be enough ocean. Never mind. I don't even know why I asked you.
Yeah, you got the wrong one.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Don't even trip. So a lot of men,
wow.
a lot of men feel like they are inadequate because they're not large enough. And one of the reasons why this is a myth is because when you think about the pleasure zone for a wife, that pleasure zone, the vagina, is probably about 1.5 to 2 inches long. On average, studies show most men are about 4 to 6 inches. So that tells you, like, when it comes to the ability to satisfy your partner, size is not necessarily a problem. But because this is something that we've internalized, and if men believe they're too small, then they show up with anxiety, and that anxiety causes them to not perform, or it might hinder their ability to maintain an erection, or they might get in their heads. And so one of the things that, culture has taught us, that size is everything, and I get it. Some people, some women, they probably, really put a lot of emphasis on size. I get it. But in the reality, when it comes to sexual satisfaction, size is not the determining factor on if a man can please his wife sexually. And so if you have that as an issue in your marriage, it could really be a problem.
That one was surprising to me. The 1.5 to 2 inches was all that's needed, because I'm certainly one where culturally it's like, no, it matters. Big foot equals, big penis. And it's this thing where you're kind of cultivated over time to expect something large. You know what I'm saying? So I could only imagine the disappointment you would think. However, the way God made you is enough. And so you actually, when it comes to satisfaction, it's not so much of the size, but more of the fact of you connecting, being intimate with your spouse that brings the satisfaction.
Yes.
Because all you need is 2 inches, but average is 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Why you laughing?
I'm laughing because how you said it.
All you need is 2.
All you need is 2.
2 inches.
Now, can you imagine telling most women that? Like
they already tuned us out.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so imagine how it feels for a male to go and share with somebody like his actual size, or, you know, for their wives to not feel. And let me stop, because we keep saying males as if it's just like a, you know, like a sling fest. Like we're talking about marriage.
Yeah.
And so if this is something that, for example, let's just say like there's this premature ejaculation, or there's this busting quick, and this is something that's happening over and over and over, he can get in his head and think that it's because his wife thinks that he's like, she's upset because, oh, I can't perform, partially because, and he's correlating it with the size and all that. That can be problematic, because the reason why this is a myth, because like the size doesn't determine satisfaction, the intimacy does.
Yeah.
Intimacy sexually determines fulfillment sexually, not size. Because when you think about some of the best sex, like just me and you, like because we have this emotional connection, there's this freedom, there's this enjoyment that we can have with one another, because there is the emotional, there's the physical attraction, there's all these things that come together that creates this intimacy, this feeling, this moment that we have.
It's date night. Go ahead, keep going.
Listen. Listen.
No, but it is true. And I think that's a good myth to start out with in terms of myth busting, because it's probably one of the ones that I could see men internalizing this, of not feeling like what I have is enough to satisfy my spouse, but not ever wanting to talk about that or even say that out loud. Like they could be thinking it and the wife could be thinking it too. So let's just bust that myth. All you have is all you need.
Yeah, all you have is all you need. What's number 2?
Okay, myth number 2, it's a man's duty to turn on a woman. This places all the responsibility on a man to do all the pleasing and the satisfying when it comes to turning a woman on. And the reality, the truth is that this arousal process is a shared experience between both husband and wife. And so it's important for the wife to also communicate what pleases her, and to be able to help her husband to know, when you do this, that turns me on, to get things, you know, warmed up. But I don't think it's fair to place all the responsibility on the man only. And a poor communication and expressing what pleases you will leave you turned off.
Yeah, and I think a lot of women who grew up in religious settings, they have an off view of sexuality and sexual life, and it's almost like, because, and we understand why there's a need to not have sex before marriage. We know the idea behind it. We know the importance of it. But in that also transitions into marriage as well. And so because like sex outside of marriage is frowned upon, there also is this idea that talking about sex shouldn't be a thing. And because they don't talk about sex, because they're not educated, because a lot of people, men and women, they don't know the particular makeup of the male body or the woman body. There's a lot of things they don't know. And they don't know that when it comes to like it's mutualism when it comes to like satisfaction. Like this requires both of us,
right?
Because there's things that are required for me to get the experience of satisfaction sexually, and for you to get the satisfaction sexually, for us to be able to enjoy this moment. And so without like knowing that it's not just the man's responsibility,
it's both of y'all.
It's both. Knowing that makes it okay, well, this is both of us, and a lot of a lot of women feel, and obviously I'm a male, but like
You just did it. You told me to tell you. We were talking about our quirks. Go ahead.
okay, yeah. So myth number 3.
Sorry, I threw you off. Okay. It's the woman's duty to provide sexual release for the man. Okay, so this now puts all the responsibility on the woman.
Yeah, talk about it.
That's why that's what I get for talking about you. Then I got choked up. Sorry. It pressures the woman to engage, basically, and it makes intimacy or sex feels more like a chore and a duty of something that they have to do. And I don't think that that's necessarily the case. Do you not agree?
No, I'm just listening because
Oh.
I can hear somebody talking about there is a Bible verse that says that your body is
It is.
not
That
yours,
is true. Mm-hmm.
and my body is not mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours. Hopefully I ain't say the same thing twice, but like I can hear
Our
people.
body belongs to one another.
Yes, I can hear people saying like, if your body belongs to me,
Mm-hmm.
then I should be able to have
Ooh.
sex whenever I want to. You should be able to. You should satisfy me, like whenever I want it. Like, and I can hear people maybe saying like that or saying that, and my response to that would be, well, if you have when you have ownership of something, you take care of it.
Yeah.
If your spouse's body belongs to you, then you care for it in a way that brings out that sexual desire. You do the things that makes the body feel good, makes the body feel safe. So when it is time to engage in sex, it's engagement freely.
Mm-hmm.
And when we don't engage freely in sex, we have to ask why. When we feel restrictions, when we feel the need to drift off mentally, what's keeping us from engaging fully and wholeheartedly, in those moments? And so if we place all that on one person, if we place it on the one spouse, it's duty, that makes it hard to really enjoy.
That's what I was going to say. It makes it hard to enjoy. Not only do I see that as pressure when there's this obligation where it's like, okay, you are the only one, should be, but meaning like this is my duty to help my husband to release this sexual tension or this sexual need that he has. And when there's this obligation, then it takes the desire out of it, for one, the enjoyment, and now you find dissatisfaction in your intimacy with your spouse. Now, I do agree with your body is mine and my body belongs to you. And I actually think if we shifted our perspective of like, it is a myth, but there is this, I don't know, like just the thought of like, God designed my body to be able to please you in such a way. But it's not a duty, it's like a joy that I get to please you and serve you in that way. And so I think with the shift of a perspective and understanding truth in God's original design, it will help with busting this myth of like, oh, okay, he wants it, I gotta do it. Like, here we go again. Let me just lay here. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have, like, it's supposed to be something that you enjoy that's pleasurable for the both of you.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
And so myth number 4 says women should not be sexually assertive. What do you think about that? I'm gonna let you speak on that first, woman.
Well, yeah. I think you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier when you were talking about like just the religious, having that background before going into a marriage of like, okay, we don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing it as we shouldn't be assertive. Don't throw yourself, don't be fast, right? Don't be fast. Don't be throwing yourself at a man.
Yeah.
And so it's the same cultural cultivation that becomes a hindrance in marriage, in the union of marriage. And I say that because it's not unladylike for you to, I guess, initiate sex is what I'm saying. And a lot of times men takes lead. I can't say for all people because I think we have different levels in terms of our sex drive at different times in different seasons. That could look different. But my point is that it's okay to be assertive, women. It's okay for you to initiate. It's okay for you to start the foreplay. It's okay for you to start turning him on. Like, you know what I'm saying? To get things popping. So I don't think that that's just, I don't think that it's not appropriate for a woman to be assertive.
Yeah, and it almost makes you think that there is a certain shame that is attached to women who might want to be and they can't. And so as a result, they kind of suppress a part of them that they feel should be expressed in their marriage. And I think I remember reading, like, it talked about, in that, in Restoring the Pleasure book that we're reading, it talked about how not being able to, what did it say? Like, it talked about how it prevented when you're not able to be yourself, if that is being assertive, if that is maybe doing things that don't necessarily cross biblical lines, but it's something that you want to express, whatever. Like, if you're not able to be yourself, then that also hinders orgasms. Because I think we were reading it, and the author was sharing how when it comes to, like, women orgasming, there needs to be this freedom
I was gonna say freedom.
there needs to be this freedom to be you. There needs to be this freedom to be able to moan, to be able to scream, whatever the case may be, in order to achieve. Because, like, most of those things that happen within the woman's body, the author was saying that it's involuntary. And when you hinder those involuntary movements, it blocks the flow of the woman's momentum in going where the body is leading her. And so we wanted to bust that myth, because if you want sexual fulfillment, you and your partner have to be educated about what is natural, what's not natural, and the things that you like, that you don't like. Like, these are things that we talked about in the first episode on sex, that there has to be communication.
Yeah.
And when there's communication, now you can educate on each other what you like, what you don't like. And so this is also a thing that if you like to be more assertive, let it be known. Educate your partner that when I am more assertive, like, I like to be louder, I like to grab tighter, I like to whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because that allows you to get to that space of enjoyment.
That's good. Myth number 5: simultaneous orgasm are the ideal goal.
Simultaneous orgasms are the ideal goal.
Yeah. So we see this a lot in Hollywood.
Why is that a myth? Go ahead. Why is that a myth? Why is that not the goal? Because you're right. I know.
I was like in mid thought. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. But I hear that, and I think of, like, you probably was going to the same place, like, movie, like, ideal movie.
Yeah.
Like, is that where you was going? Okay, well, you go, because we can
basically
talk about that.
Where there's this, like, we need to climax at the same time, and you see that a lot in movies. And I'm a hopeless romantic, and I love chick flicks, so you see that a lot whenever there's a sex scene where they get to enjoy and come to this place of peak or climax at the same time. And it's just not realistic. It's not realistic that it will happen that way. And I think the expectation almost would make you feel less satisfied if that's what you're expecting to happen every time.
Yeah. And that alone provides unnecessary pressure.
Yeah.
And disappointment if it don't happen.
Yep.
And so another reason why this is a myth is because there are, like, most women don't orgasm from just intercourse alone. Like, according to the book, there are other ways. And so when it comes to, like, when meeting when you're trying to climax at the same time, your bodies are different. Like one of you may be feeling more aroused than the other. It might take you longer. Like there's so many different scenarios. And so like it can really lead to disappointment. So
Okay.
that's definitely why that one is a myth.
Mhm. Myth number 6: elderly people are not sexual beings. I'm like, this was a myth that was actually new to me because I'm like, I never heard that. Like, you get older and you no longer have a sex drive, or you no longer have this desire for sex. I'm like, oh, that was new to me, but apparently it's a myth. But I do understand, because when you see an older couple, you don't often associate sex with them. Like, they probably enjoy walks in the park and sitting on the porch drinking coffee. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't think that they be in there just swinging and banging. You don't think about all
I
that.
knew you was gonna go too far.
But no, seriously, like, and
Yeah,
that's
you
just
don't.
kind of how our society is. Like, we place such an emphasis on younger. We place such an emphasis on, you know what I'm saying, making sure we stay fit and all the things, and we make it seem like sexual desire also is not
Expires.
expires with age. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, when it
yeah.
doesn't. And we know that there might be some older couples who are watching this, and they might not have um the same desire as before. However, it can look different. And how do we understand our body at this stage? How do we understand some of the transitions we go through to help us get to that place of sexually satisfying one another? You know, because even when we think about like us, like we don't know what it's going to look like 20, 30, 40, 60
Our
years from
bodies are
now.
gonna go through a lot of changes
You know what I'm
too.
saying?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You
And
gotta
so
adjust.
what does it look like then? You know what I'm saying? How can we be educated about what's going on in our bodies, what's going on in our relationship to keep us connected? You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that makes these myths so important is because when you think about what really drives intimacy, it's connection.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these things are dealing with like external pressures. Really what drives sexual satisfaction is closeness, is intimacy, is safeness, is a freedom. And that comes with, you know, when you build your relationship. A lot of couples think that they might have a lot of men might have erectile dysfunction, but it could just be a lack of connection with your spouse. You know what I'm saying? Like some women might feel like, oh, it's not getting wet as it used to. It might be a connection with your spouse.
Or just put some lube on that thing.
Right.
But it could be the connection too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I wasn't expecting you to say that, but that was great. That was great.
Well, I hear as you enter through different, talking about older couples, and you start going through these different changes in your body, like your libido is affected, and it also affects the lubrication, you know, down there for women. So, I mean, it don't mean don't pass go. It just means find what works for you in that season.
Yeah. And I think that's also a hard part for couples too, because when they have changes, they have to figure out what does satisfaction look like with this new change.
And
Eh,
grace.
Yes.
Grace and space to figure it out.
Yeah, you do. And man, I don't think growing up I had healthy conversations around sex.
Me either.
I didn't get the birds and the bees talk growing up.
I read books though. Those Zane books were very freaky. But it wasn't educational.
Zane books?
Yeah, it wasn't educational. Don't worry. You too young. Go ahead.
No, they had them at our school too, but I read like a page.
At
like,
school, that's definitely inappropriate.
Our school didn't have it, but
In the
kids
library?
at our school.
Whoa, y'all different. Let me check this Zane book out. Sorry.
No.
Okay, anyways.
High school students, like I had a couple friends who had those books. I would read a page or two, and what it did to me, I'm like, I can't walk around like this, so let me not read it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't necessarily have the birds and the bees talk with my dad. My dad was like, well, when you start getting some hair on your chin, I know what you're doing. And that was it.
Wow.
That's literally all I got. And so I wish I would have knew I wish I would have knew more about, sex instead of it just being something that's avoided. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think
Like,
the same, especially for me as a woman, being told obviously about not having sex and not being fast and all the things. Um, I think coming into marriage, I felt like there was a lack of experience. And so it was like, okay, I didn't even know my body or what I like. I couldn't have told you like some of the myths that we're busting today. I couldn't have told you like, oh, I like this or do this, because there wasn't enough experience. So when you come into marriage with the lack of experience, it should be this beautiful thing of discovery and exploring, but it was also a little intimidating for me. And there was fear around that, of like, ooh, am I going to be able to satisfy and please him,
mm-hmm.
And so, I wish it was something that we could just openly discuss and talk about. But for sure, imagine like telling someone in their early 20s or even in high school that information, they probably would for sure use it. And you don't want that. But at what point do you learn? It's like you figure it out as you go with your spouse. And that's the beauty in it. But if you're not talking about it, then there's this suppression of satisfaction. And that just sounds miserable.
Yeah. And then that also leads into not being able to talk about issues that you're having sexually or thoughts that you're having sexually. And that keeps you from connecting because now instead of sharing with your partner, sharing those, as we talked about in a previous episode, like some of those secrets that you have, you know what I'm saying? Like that keeps a part of you from entering into the relationship. And so we don't oftentimes see how that is showing up and affecting us in a certain way, you know what I'm saying? But understanding like educating ourselves, like it's so many Google resources now. Like I know
Chat, how do I find my G spot?
you sound like you looked that up on chat.
I did not. Really?
Listen,
I'm just saying,
I didn't say
people
you
be
did.
trying to go to chat for everything.
I didn't say you did. I
Get
just
outta
said that
here.
it sounded like because that was
No, because you said Google, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, but like, anyways.
Yeah, but chat's
But
better.
education is your best friend.
Right.
And that's what we talking about.
Right. And so educating yourself about your body, educating yourself
books,
about
podcasts.
Like really understanding like your vagina, like understanding the parts about it, understanding the parts about your penis and the things that happen within it.
Yeah.
Like all the different, like all of that stuff really helps have a better sex life.
Yeah.
And I think I really want to dispel that, especially because I know we live in a conservative area, but part of me really wants to like have these conversations with couples so they can stop feeling uncomfortable about it and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like if we have better conversations around topics that are difficult to talk about, if we learn to deal with what comes up for us that keeps us from having healthy conversations around it, we would have healthier relationships. We would have healthier marriages. And
Healthier
then we
sex
would have healthier sex lives, of course. And we will also start to be able to find ways to creatively educate others when they are struggling, because that's one of those things, especially like when we think about Adam and Eve and them hiding their nakedness in the garden, like our private areas, whatever you reference it, like those are the areas that we typically hide and we want to hide. You're not gonna find no, you'll get arrested for public indecency now. You know what I'm saying? If you walk around naked, like that's how much like shame is starting to be around that. You know what I'm saying? And obviously for good purposes, but
right.
like
please don't go out and run naked.
Yeah, because we don't want you to get a ticket.
We don't want you to be that free.
Because that'll be bad on your marriage.
We don't want you
gotta
in jail.
pay. Yeah, we don't want you in jail because then that looks bad. You might get fired.
And you can't have
all
sex.
The things. You can't not have sex. So, saying that to say, really understanding the need to dispel some of these myths, because they can, in fact, be influencing how couples talk about sex in their marriage.
All right. You ready for our marriage emotion?
Yeah.
Give me a drum roll. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay,
Hallelujah.
wow.
Sorry, guys. We have kids.
Praise ye the Lord.
We have
Okay,
kids.
sorry. For this week's Marriage in Motion, we are discussing myths around the topic of sex, right? And so based on the 6 myths that we discussed today, we want you to talk with your spouse and share with them what one myth surprised you, and also what one myth did you believe the most and you've accepted as truth when it really ain't. So discuss that with your spouse. Take 10, 15 minutes and let's break the tabooness around the topic of sex and start talking about it.
Yeah,
That's your
because
marriage in motion.
you don't want the cultural whatever's to start to affect your sex life.
And because it said men internalize the false beliefs without ever talking about it, it provides a safe space for you guys to be able to start that conversation.
Yeah, because we want you to thrive after the altar. Part of that is
Yep.
having sex. So
Bo show.
talk about sex, educate yourself about sex, have healthy sex.
Sex. Okay, tell me though, what one myth shocked you the most?
I would say the pleasure zone for women. The 1.5 to
Same.
2 inches
Yeah,
of pleasure zone.
that one really
and-
took me. That it ain't the size of the boat.
It's the motion
In
and
the
the ocean.
I
There we
got
go. We
it.
found it.
Yeah.
That's all we needed. Look at there. But I think that surprised me the most. But when you think about it, you know, it's true. Because even when you think about, like, you have the part that you enter, you have the pleasure zone, and then the rest of it expands into a balloon like shape, if that makes sense. And so,
Oh, you're getting real detailed. Okay.
oh, you making it a taboo topic now?
No, I just
I'm
wanted
joking.
you to
I'm
briefly just
joking.
tell me
I'm
which
joking.
one.
You know how I am. You should never said it.
I know.
So, anyways, that one
We're wrapping up the episode.
that 1.5 to 2 inch pleasure zone for women, that was a surprise to me.
I would agree. That was a surprise to me too. One, for that the size didn't really matter, and that all you need is 2 inches to be able to hit that pleasure spot in a woman. I was just like, oh, okay, that was a myth. And then, like I said, as far as the older couples as well, I was just like, oh, that's a myth. It's not even a thought that crosses my mind.
Because when you think of older people, you usually are respectable. You don't think of them in that way.
Yeah. And I don't want to think of my grandpa or my daddy that way either.
Okay, pause. We have to go to them.
Okay, anyways, thank you for joining us on this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. Share it. We're talking about sex, y'all. Listen, share it with somebody. And you could just slide it in there, because I'm sure, especially us women, you got your girlfriend, your homegirl that has shared with you, like, look,
slide it in there.
He not satisfying me. Like, go ahead and just be like, look, you got to read this or watch this.
Slide it in there is crazy.
Slide it in there, my bad. We're trying to educate. We're trying to educate here.
We are.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, don't think of your dad and your grandpa.
Oh, you still stuck there? You can thrive after the altar. When you say I do, it's just the starting point of it getting better and better, and that includes your sex life.
Yep.
Till next time, y'all.
Peace.
Bye.
Gonna love you always. No doubt you're my blessing. Ain't no second guessing. No one can separate.